Good evening. The people of Clyde, living in the shadow of the giant Clyde Dam, are demanding $20 million for their community. They expect Electricorp to pay out the sum as compensation for the damage they say the dam has caused to the town. Michael Lynch reports.
The town of Clyde's long felt hard done by over the dam that hangs over it. Other places, such as Cromwell upstream, have done well enough out of the dam, but not so Clyde, say the locals.
The whole of the Clyde feel that we've been left out of everything. We've lost the main road, and they've offered compensation when it first started, and we've received nothing whatsoever.
Electricorp's response has been non-committal. It has enough troubles of its own with the massive last-minute repair work in the shaky gorge above the dam. Extra costs here are now estimated well over $20 million in the race to stabilise slippery hillsides. The latest problem is a 200-metre drainage tunnel that's not draining as it should. A giant drill's being brought down from Wairaki to tap down into the tunnel from high up the threatened landslide. Electricorp officials are no longer even putting a firm date on lake filling. All this talk of instability in the dam's cold comfort to Clyde. People there say whatever happens to the dam, they're the ones who are hurting.
Well, this is really our last chance. We've received nothing, and we're going for broke.
Clyde's promising a fight if Electricorp doesn't come up with something. It wants water and sewerage. But above all, it wants to stay alive as a town after the dam.
Soccer's Winfield Shield remains in Otago tonight, but only just. Southland's spirited challenge in Dunedin this afternoon had the visitors in front for all but the last 5 minutes of the match. But as John McDermott reports, the 2-2 draw was enough for Otago to retain the shield.
Otago always knew the danger man would be former international Kenny Cresswell, and he soon stamped his mark on the game. Then something most unusual as both teams left the field for a full quarter of an hour while Otago's Rodney Fleming was tended for a badly broken leg. Midway through the second half, Southland seemed to make the shield theirs. A defensive blunder from Otago, and Lindsay Thomas took full advantage. But Southland's jubilation was short-lived as Otago pressure finally told. Robert Crawford's skillful volley narrowed the gap to 2-1. Then, with 5 minutes remaining, a disputed penalty to Otago, much to Southland captain Cresswell's disgust. Otago's captain Graham Carr did the rest. A narrow escape for Otago, bitter disappointment for Southland.
Very proud of the lads. We worked really hard. I think we deserved it in the end. I mean, the penalty I don't think was ever a penalty, but that's the way the game goes sometimes. I think we did enough to win the game, but sometimes a game could be a bit cruel to you.
Oh yeah, it was pretty tough there for the last half. We seemed to put them under heaps of pressure, just couldn't put the ball in the net. But the boys competed really well, and in the end got the result that we wanted.
It may still look the same from the outside, but there's been a significant change for one of Oamaru's best-known landmarks. It's now driven by electric power, having been hand-wound every day since the clock and tower were donated to the area in 1903. The $11,000 conversion proved a lot more complicated than was expected, but now the chimes should be accurate to within a few seconds. Prizes fell out of the sky at Otago University this afternoon. This strange phenomenon attracted about 300 students who crowded into the middle of the campus and started looking skywards. As Kim Hurring reports, they were eventually rewarded for their wait.
It was obvious something was about to happen. People kept looking up and checking their timepieces. No, they weren't all huddled in the courtyard to avoid falling pieces of the Hocken building. It was, in fact, a Radio One promotion.
Okay, it's 5 minutes to go for the great over-the-edge giveaway. Just a reminder, you can only take one envelope and bring it up to Radio One straight after, and you'll find out what your prize is. There's enough envelopes for everyone, so only take one envelope. And right now we've got Bob Dylan.
So while Bob Dylan soothed the expectant masses, the Waitati militia practised. This catapult was purpose-built to distribute 300 envelopes, each one the key to a prize. The envelopes were gone in minutes, and then it was upstairs to Radio One to collect the prizes, mostly chocolate bars and vouchers. But the top prize, a record player, still hasn't been claimed. The sad end to this story is the tale of one poor sod who had his eye on this ticket. He tried time and time again, but couldn't quite reach it. Eventually, he was done out of his reward by a taller chap. I guess all's fair in love and student giveaways.
And now a story about another strange phenomenon. This one occurs in the rural heartland of Lumsden in northern Southland. Lumsden is best known as the town that seems only to feature in the news when it records the country's lowest 3 o'clock temperature, much to the chagrin of locals. But now Mark Price has discovered what the district's farmers are doing without their wives on those chilly winter nights.
If the greenhouse effect exists, it hasn't yet reached northern Southland. There have been 2 falls of snow already this year, and that means it's time to break open the winter rations.
Beautiful. Good stuff.
And as the evening draws in and the last of the animals line up for tea, a few farmers prepare a little something extra for themselves.
I hope this is the right way to do it, otherwise we'll be in strife, aren't we?
This is Lumsden's Pudding Club. Over a glass of mulled wine, they reminisce about the food of yesteryear and the changes to their traditional diet.
We probably don't eat as much swede. Boiled mutton and swede. No, we probably have a bit of variety. We cook mutton in more ways, more different ways. It must help. I'm sure it must help.
There's still mutton.
Yes, it's still mutton, but we've improved on the techniques in cooking it.
They claim they've been forced to come together every so often to enjoy the puddings their more health-conscious wives no longer make.
Oh, it's a pair of log. Just 5 eggs white with a cup of sugar and a bit of vanilla and rolled out with coconut, or rolled up with coconut and boysenberries inside, and cream.
This is an apple and raspberry cobbler, it's supposed to be called.
Cobbler?
Yeah, see, it's a good one. When I use recipe books, they never work. I have more success doing things by touch, flair, whatever.
That's God.
No, it's true, dead true.
England is known to have a pudding club or two, and it was word of mouth that brought the idea here. During the dark days of the rural downturn, farmers were looking for different things to talk about than just lamb and wool prices.
What did you make?
It was a layer cake thing.
Oh.
One of those...
Black forest cake?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Oh, great.
Their wives are allowed to give verbal advice during the preparation and their verdict during the prize giving. But at the end of the day, the hands in the sink belong to the very merry members of the Lumsden Pudding Club.
And not an instant pud amongst them. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.